Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out the range with a Sig P320 pistol, well, a couple of them, but that's not what today's video is about. Well, it's kind of sort of about the P320, but it's about a Flux chassis system called the Raider that Sig is now partnered up with Flux Defense to produce. And this thing I thought was cool when it first came out. It's gone through a number of evolutionary changes. We'll talk about those today. But also it's quite interesting that this thing has been considered by various organizations within the US military, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But the good news is Sig is selling it as a complete kit. I have one of their Legion versions here this afternoon to show you. But to start off, I'm going to shoot this competition ready style pistol with the tungsten infused frame, which is really heavy. We've done full videos on guns like this, if not this actual gun. Has a Romeo 3 Max red dot sight on it. And I really do enjoy shooting the P320s. They are just nice shooting pistols. And now, of course, a version of this known as the M17 and M18 are being used by the US Army and Navy and Marine Corps. And so that's kind of cool too. So it's America's new service pistol. So with all that being said, let's do a little bit of shooting. Let's take a look at this new Legion Flux Defense collaboration with Sig Sauer and the P320. Man, these things shoot nice. Hey guys, I'm at Patriot Mobile and I'm here with Jacob, and we want to talk a little bit about the services that Patriot Mobile provides. Now, I'm Christian. If you didn't know that, you probably missed my logo. And obviously I support the Second Amendment, and so does Patriot Mobile. Jacob, can you tell us a little bit about what the services are?
Yeah, absolutely.
That you offer?
Absolutely. Thank you for coming by.
Absolutely.
We're happy to have you here. So we're America's only Christian conservative cell phone company. We have access all across the country, so there's not a place in this country we don't cover. We have you on all the major networks, so there's no issues with that. A multitude of plans, but really the biggest thing is that we donate to causes you believe in. First Amendment, Second Amendment, sanctity of life, military, first responders. Instead of donating money to organizations that are fighting against you, we donate to organizations that are fighting for you. So switch today. We'll get you taken care of. 972 Patriot. Find us at patriotmobile.com.
Outstanding. And can folks keep their existing phone number?
Keep your same phone number, keep your same phone, keep everything all the same. It's as easy as going online or giving us a call. Two numbers, and that's it.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You know what? I'm going to pick up a business phone, and I want to get the Patriot Mobile service.
Absolutely, and get ready for Patriot Mobile One. You'll have 2 different carriers on one device. Coming soon.
Outstanding. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, Tim.
This is the Flux Raider in its current configuration. This has gone through a number of evolutionary changes. I have a couple of very early systems that were produced, and now this one has a number of new features that we're going to talk about in today's video that are actually really, really cool. I love how this thing has evolved. So what is it? Well, in essence, guys, this is just a chassis system for an existing P320. And so one of the cool things about the P320, pop this out here really quick. One of the cool things about the P320 is that it has that modular trigger system in it, right? So you can pop the trigger out and put it into something else. So you just pop your trigger out of your standard P320, you buy the Flux Defense lower. If you want to convert an existing pistol, drop your trigger system into it, put your slide back on, and boom, your handgun is now a PCC of sorts, right? This is a brace. Now they do have stock versions of this, I do believe, and the stock would be a little bit different. This is just a little thin piece of polymer on one side that's cut out of the way so you can rest your arm against it. And so this does spring out automatically. So let's kind of go over some of the features of this here really, really quick. So the cool thing about the Flux Raider is that you can make it into a very small little package and carry it as a handgun, shoot it as a handgun as you normally would, or you can hit the little lever on the side here and it will extend this little brace system. And so this is spring loaded. You can see the little spring in here that shoots it out right there. To collapse it, you just push this lever right here on the right hand side. Again, push it down, kind of tap this, hit it, and it'll lock in place. So the next time you hit the lever, it extends. And so that makes it very, very handy for precise aiming and hitting targets that you otherwise might not hit as quickly or effectively if you didn't have the brace system on there. So moving from the rear frontward, you can see that we have some QD mounts back here, both on the little brace arm here and then on the receiver itself. I'd probably use this. This is just sheet metal. It's heavy gauge, but just kind of sheet metal. And so I'd probably put a sling here, but I'm sure you could get holsters and stuff for it. I believe there were some Flux Defense holsters that were out there that this would actually fit into as well. So you carry it as a more conventional handgun. And a thigh holster. Your standard controls remain. So we have slide stop, slide release on both sides. and this is a carryover from the modular trigger system that you could pop in there. And so there you go. And then hit either one and slide will go home for a reload. This is your takedown lever. Now here's a new addition. We have ambi safeties on the gun. Up is safe, down is fire. It's present on both sides. So it's very easy to get to with your thumb, put it on fire, and then brush it back onto safe. Nice touch if you want to use something like this as a PDW, which is kind of what they're going after, a personal defense weapon. Then over here, you'll notice that the magazine release is gone. Now we have this system right here. This will release the magazine in the grip. This button right here will release the magazine in the grip. And then you have a multifunction button underneath here that will release this mag storage right here in front of the pistol grip. And also if you push in even further, it will then drop the magazine actually in the pistol grip where the gun's feeding from. Out here we have a 1913 rail. We have some holes here, I'm guessing maybe for some accessories you can put on the side. Now some of the military groups that have posted pictures of the guns that they're evaluating with the Flux Raider chassis on it, you'll see PECs and stuff on the side of the receiver, so I know you can put accessories on the side. Now this one does bear the Legion markings here, and then of course we have the Legion slide. It is cut for a red dot sight, and then it has a compensator out there. They have a pick rail back here for mounting red dot sights. This was shipped to me with the Romeo 2 red dot sight that you see on here. It has its little housing, its protective housing that you can screw on. It's optional, it's a reflex sight, and it's on a riser mount. And you might think, well, why would you want it so high? Well, if you're using it in law enforcement military type applications where you might have a body armor, or even in civilian militia type applications where you might have body armor or something on, or you're using a bump helmet, things like that, think of the unity mounts, right? So your head is more upright when you get the red dot presented to your eye versus coming all the way down here where hearing protection, helmets and stuff like that might get interfered with. Also, it's worth noting through the rear here, you can actually use the iron sights if you need to. There's an emergency backup. It's a clear path from the rear sight to the front sight there. And overall, the quality of these things is really, really nice. It feels like a quality manufactured piece. I think some of the early ones were probably 3D printed. This one does not. This looks like a production model. If it's a 3D printed model, they are using some extremely high-end 3D printers, and I'm all for 3D printing and manufacturing, both metal and polymers. And this is a polymer lower. So you're probably wondering what the cost on this is. So Sig has partnered up with Flux Defense to offer these as a Sig product. This is a complete Sig product. It's much like what they did with SB Tactical and the braces a decade or more ago. So that's what they're doing here with Flux Defense. So you can buy this from Sig as a complete package, and they'll start off around $14.99 and just go up from there depending on how you option it. Different colors and stuff like that are available. So with all that being said, let's go do some shooting with this thing, have some fun, because I really enjoy the Raider. So it's worth noting, if you're using the brace version of it, that this little cutout right here gives you room to shoot it as a pistol. If you're left-handed, it's going to kind of get in the way. I don't know if they offer a different hook that goes the opposite way, but once this is extended, it's no longer a problem. So that's just something to think about. It does have ambi controls, as I've already pointed out. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the little button here, collapse this. So it has a couple of other features. Now, you'll notice with the brace collapsed, you'll have the rails that come up along the side of the receiver here. Now, this is the spare magazine holder, and this is your pistol grip where you actually load the firearm. And so now they have 30-round M17 P320 magazines. Remember what I said several years ago that I think these are going to become the next Glock magazine because the U.S. military has adopted them? Well, now they're making 30-rounders, so I'm pretty sure you're going to see more and more guns using Sig P320 mags, because we have them, 17 rounds, 15 rounds, 21 rounds, 30 rounds. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So you can put a 30-rounder in the pistol grip, and then here I have one of the military 21-round style magazines, and you can put that up here in the front, and so now you're carrying your spare magazine and ammunition on the firearm, so it's always there ready for use. Now, to fire it, just extend the brace. I'm going to go ahead and charge the firearm. Now, you'll notice some chassis have like T-handles and little charging knobs that you can put in. You replace the rear plate on the slide, and you can put a charging knob and stuff in there. This doesn't have that. You can just simply charge it like that. All right, now as I've mentioned, it has a safety, so that's fire and that's safe. and the safety just blocks the travel of the trigger. So with it on safe, I'm pressing the trigger and the gun will not fire. So that's a nice touch. Now, check this out. Do I have the full 30 in here? No, I only think I have like 15 rounds or so loaded into this magazine. So I'm gonna do a reload and show you some of the cool features of this system. That all this stuff is new from the earlier versions that I have from several years ago. All right, so the gun locks open, last shot fired. You have a magazine release here. So I pointed out this magazine release and I pointed out this magazine release. But the one inside here, the thumb release, if you push it once, it just releases this magazine. But if you push it all the way in, think of a multi-stage AUG trigger where you go from semi to full automatic, you just keep pulling and you need a little bit more resistance, you pull a little bit more and then it goes into full auto. Something like that, a multi-function release button. So the first one releases this magazine, but if I push it to the second click, it drops the magazine in the pistol grip, pull this one out, stick it in and reload. That makes controlling this little weapon extremely easy to do. Accurate shots are easily achieved, as you can see from the targets about 15-20 yards away. It's very, very easy to use this firearm. And so, yeah, I mean, talk about a very convenient little setup. To collapse it, just push this lever down again, kind of tap it, that'll break it loose, and you just push it forward and collapse it against that spring that ejects it. Put the safety on, she's ready to go. Nice, small, handy little package. Yeah, my buddy Ben at Flux Defense designed this thing many years ago. And it's cool to see him partner up with Sig to produce this thing and see all the evolutionary changes that have been done to it. It definitely improves the function of the system. And guys, this is probably one of the coolest pistol caliber carbine type things you could do with a handgun, with an existing handgun, if you just want to buy the Flux Defense Raider, or if you're just a fan of Sig products, you want to pick up a Legion complete package like this, or I think they even offer them flat dark earth and other configurations. That's pretty darn cool. Pretty darn cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video about the Sig P320 Legion and the Legion chassis. It's the chassis called the Raider from Flux Defense. It's a collaborative effort between Sig and Flux Defense. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Very interesting system. I've been following this since its very early days, and it's really cool again to see where it's evolved to. These things start off over on the Sig website for right around $14.99 for the chassis and the firearm, but you can change the configurations and there'll be different versions available, different colors, things like that, and the price may change a little bit. But if you're interested in learning more about the Sig version, the partnership between Sig and Flux Defense, swing by your local Sig dealer, see if you can't put your hands on one and play with it and see if it's something that would be of interest to you. I actually like these things. I've liked them since the Gen 1 setups. I really like this current version of it with all the new improvements to it. It really helps to make it a very practical little PCC style firearm. Again, it can be used as a handgun. You can even get holsters, I believe, for them. I do have an early Flux Defense holster with its chassis system somewhere in my gun room. But yeah, just very, very cool things. Again, swing by, check them out over on Sig. If you have any questions, you can ask those questions down below. I do try to stick around for the first couple of days after a video goes live to answer any questions you guys may have. If you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, the best way to do that is to become part of our Patreon family. You can do that by following a link down below. Also, over on X, I want to let you guys know that I've applied to be able to have subscriptions over there, and if that goes through, I'll be posting videos early over there, just like I will on Patreon, and you can follow me over on X and set yourself up with those subscriptions there. Right here on YouTube, you got the little support button right underneath the video player you're watching right now. You can mash that button and help support us right here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Last but not least, swing by, check out Copper Custom. Thank you for 16 years of support, and we'll talk to you guys soon.